better than what Power Rangers have right now.
All right, and there's that last pick, Lesh. So the trend is going to continue for you here, Draskell. I guess the teams knew you were casting, and they knew how much you love Leshrac, so they're keeping you happy.
Yeah, it's just a hero that's always been in the pool. Like every single time that I cast a game of this mode, it's just always Lesh. Sometimes it just happens though, you know?
Well, he's also versatile. We've seen him even today in a support role as well as a core role. The support was not nearly as scary, but there were a lot of other issues going on with that particular game. So heroes that can just play a variety of roles, kind of like Tusk as well, just they have a little extra shine here in this mode. I like the stake draft. I think it could be a pretty scary Deathball Dazzle and a Baden. Fun to have together on the same team. Not fun to play against, though. That shit is toxic.
Oh, dude, it's infuriating. It is actually like the scummiest shit in the world. I ain't afraid to say that either, because I'm friends with Synderen, you know? That is some
See, I tried
scum.
to be a little PC for it. I'm glad you took the layup and just dunked it on top of Synderen there. And yeah, Shannon actually really wanted to cast Stake at some point in this tournament, and he didn't get to cast their upper bracket series. So if they lose here, he's going to be very sad. So you're going to have to fill the Suns fan role here and make sure Synderen is kept an eye upon, make sure he plays up to standards.
I think it's alright. I mean, to be honest, a lot of pro players complain that heroes like Abaddon and Omni Knight, they just don't have a very high skill cap. Like, you basically, all you do is you sit behind a hero and you cast your spells on somebody who gets, you know, stunned or nuked or whatever. It's a very ease of execution thing, which isn't necessarily to say that it's bad. It's just notorious because Dota players have this mentality where if your hero doesn't take skill, then it's just cheese.
By the way, look at this Abaddon set here, Draskell, that Synderen's got. This is a new set, guys, and it's available for purchase. Enigmatic Wanderer set. Could get the sick Lesh set that Recovery's not using, but look at how cool this Abaddon is. Beautiful.
He's got like
it's actually pretty
or
sick.
something. It's fucking crazy looking.
Yeah, dude, that weapon's nice.
Oh,
The
it's a
horse
halberd,
looks
sorry.
sick as well. It's like it's not a horse, it's a ram.
All right, the dream. You can look awesome while you're being a scumbag playing ABBA.
Yeah, so for all you offlane ABBA pickers out there, we've got the set for you.
And that's actually a very cool set. To be fair though, most ABBA sets look pretty cool. Like, it's actually hard to make that hero look bad.
He has a badass model, just in general. I mean, Arthas is a badass, just like character model in general. All of it is, you know, Death Knights are just fucking cool, man. There's no way to make a Death Knight and have it be lame.
Yeah, I agree.
So you give him a really dinky weapon, but wow, look at speaking of cosmetics, look at the Shadow Shaman. I don't know if I've seen this set.
This is the Arts and Crafts Shadow Shaman, actually. That's what I like to call it. It just looks ridiculous, to be honest.
It does look like something you would make in Arts and Crafts, though.
Yeah.
I think there's a Witch Doctor set that looks somewhat similar, where they turn his face into a beak.
No, it's the flat one that looks like he just cut out a cereal box and just fucking slapped it on his face. I mean, I'm always a fan of that kind of stuff.
It's like those, you remember those shitty cosplay videos that were on the subreddit like last year? I don't know what it looks like. Shadow Shaman shitty cosplay, bird edition.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
So, Synderen starting in the jungle here. Cinderwin, couple of Dark Trolls swinging that halberd, whatever it is.
Shout out to Galblack.
Yep. Iron Talon, level 1, baby.
It's one of those things, though, where in this game, he's actually making a sacrifice by doing this. Because you can't really do anything for mid, right? Like, just sitting there on ABBA, you're not really going to be able to influence the 1v1 matchup one way or another. I think Lesh actually does okay here, because you can just level Lightning and spam it out. Or you can maybe go for the Edict build that we saw some people doing earlier. Synderen getting kind of low here.
Oh, Big Nom blocks him out. Then pops the Aphotic Shield, starts to rotate around, trades a couple of last hits. He is level 2 with that first point in the Cursed Furnace. So harder for Big Nom to trade last hits, and he will have to back out a little bit here. But at least pressuring Synderen, not letting him free farm in the jungle.
Yeah, it's an interesting laning phase, because top is pretty much completely abandoned until the lane gets pushed in. Like, Synderen just gonna make the rotation.
Look at all these cosmetics. Look at this Morphling.
Yeah, dude.
I thought he was tiny for a second.
That's...
He looks like he's made out of rocks.
Yeah, that's the era Morphling set, dude. OPO.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, actually, since I've seen a Morphling. I know he's been seeing a little bit more play lately, but...
Yeah, that's a rare set, though. Even the Morphlings I've seen usually don't use those cosmetics. Uh-oh, down bottom lane. Cheshire Cat getting aggressive here. The illusions working against him a little bit. He's getting quite a few spins, but he will be forced to back out. Speaking of cosmetics, the Axe set as well. He's got that huge cape. Man, this is some sick cosmetic game.
Yeah, that's the Immortal, right?
Yeah, it is. But with Axe, you can trick him out because he has so many damn immortals. He's got the helm, the chest, the cloak, and then he's got that huge scythe. can make your axe be particled out and have the little armadillo Draskell.
You need the Wormguard Edge or Wyvern Edge, whatever the heck it was called, the TI2 axe. That's the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that thing's pretty expensive.
yo, dude, I had like 10 of those things, and then I gave them all away. Now I'm sad.
Oh, man. Oh. Top. Cinderin getting dove on here. Big Numenillidan. There it is. Waveform. You were talking about it in the draft, Draskell. Power of the Morphling early on. Even just 2 points in waveform. Very mobile. Nice little chunk of damage, and it'll be the Abaddon that dies first.
Yeah, it's a fairly low cooldown as well.
Cinderin.
It happens. I mean, he was trying to just get as much as he could out of the laning phase. The whole purpose of picking Abba and doing the choke point jungle like he was is, obviously you're not going to be able to contest the lane in the first few waves, you just get hard zoned, and you're not getting anything. So he gets level 3 at 3 minutes, that's actually not too bad. The lane's still pushed in such a way that he will continue to get experience and gold if he's last hitting well. And I think that death, maybe not necessary, but at the very least, he's still getting a decent chunk out of the first couple minutes.
Yeah, definitely true. Checking in on the mid lane, kind of a wash. Both heroes with a couple of denies, quite a few last hits. I'm glad to see Slicks on a team though, man. There's a lot of names on the Staming side that I'm friends with / know well from Han, and Slicks is one that I've just been waiting for him to break out and finally find a Dota team. It's been a while, man. He was so good in Han, and then his transition to Dota 2 was very difficult.
I don't think he put as much time into it, maybe, as he put into Han, at least as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what his personal effects are like. I'm actually not sure how old he is. I don't know, like, if he's a student or if he works full-time or what.
He's in his 20s, I'm pretty sure. Okay. I think he's a couple years younger than I am. Well, I mean, I guess everybody is, but... yeah. He was notorious for winning his lanes with, like, a 200 ping disadvantage. Like, that was what I remember him doing. Because I used to play with him a lot, because he was in DWI, like Toronto and all those guys. I used to play with him quite a bit. But yeah, he was always extremely good.
Yeah, he played a lot of 1 when I was casting, when he Frenetic Array. He played like Forsaken Archer, those kind of heroes, but really just good lane mechanics is what he was known for. But yeah, the ping, I think he's from New Zealand, so ping was always a problem. But he's a really cool player. He's really very cool, calm, and collected. And he used to be a drafter as well, so he's a good. Does he draft for this team? Do you know? I didn't even look in the draft stage.
I
don't know who their drafter
think
is.
They probably just have like a team effort, but it's most likely, I would guess, Cinderin, right?
The team effort. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't think I'm sure that Fogged probably has some input and maybe Sealkit as well, but it's very atypical for like safe lane position like to draft, you know, Era. I'm not saying he can't, but it's just like really uncommon.
It is atypical, that's for sure. This time he's doing pretty well. Speaking of Era, number 2 on net worth overall. His CS is tied with the Morphling and about what you hope for. Axe level 5, so he's having an okay time out of the lane as well, but a pretty solid laning phase. Aside from that 1 death on Abaddon, he's spent a lot of time in the jungle, still doing quite well, almost level 5 himself. This is a pretty even laning phase here, Draskell. Everybody's pretty happy with what's going on.
It's actually
happy little trees.
Like outside of the first blood, it is definitely favoring Stake, just because their offlaner is getting quite a bit. I mean, I suppose the Axe is not too far behind.
Actually, a little bit ahead. He just dinged level 5.
Yeah, and experience, and overall CS he's a little bit behind, I suppose. The other thing too is Cheshire Cat's item timing is going to be more important to him than whatever Cinderin wants to go for. Like whenever they feel that they want to push, which is probably just going to be when Fog hits 6, they'll just go in, drop wards on a tower, or try to go for a kill. Because again, it's very difficult to fight just 5 versus 5 into what Stake had, especially if they're allowed to get their siege going before you react. So ideally, Cheshire Cat gets blink, he goes in, maybe like Morphling or Tusk follow it up, they get a really quick kill and they can take the fight from there. But if Stake are allowed to set up, you pretty much can't walk into it anymore, it's just way too scary.
Yeah. I think Era goes Blink Dagger here. Is that just the complete necessity for a Tiny without a Wisp?
I think it would make sense because their team kind of lacks pick. A lot of the time when you have this really dangerous 5-man potential and good push, the best way to complement the lineup is by getting an item that allows you to pick out a hero out of position, especially on a hero like Tiny who does so much damage so fast you can just get that kill and ensure that you can push off of it, which is very nice. So that's why I was speaking towards the lineup being well-rounded. They can pick, they can push, and they can team fight, and their team fight like 5 versus 5 is very, very dominant.
Yeah, they probably don't want to go super late, but they've got plenty of kind of early late game carry potential as Tiny continues to scale and stuff, so. All right. More farming. Cinderin up top. Thinking about initiation, perhaps. J4 hiding in the tree line. They did have a lane ward down, like right here, but it got countered by that sentry. Put it down in range of the sentry, so a little unfortunate.
It's a very common ward spot though, to be fair.
Oh, Slicks. Got out in the mid, but he's got support. Dazzle's there nearby. Turn and steal a lot of damage. About 50. TP reaction, but no blood drawn. Fog's getting a lot of experience as well. Shadow Shaman's level 4 already.
Yeah, both teams are playing it fairly greedy. Like, no one is putting a whole lot of emphasis towards going for kills. They just want a stable early game. Like, PR needs their blink on their axe, and Stake, they're probably just going to go mech on Slicks, and then they're going to go for the 6 on Shadow Shaman, and that'll be their timing. I suppose Era is actually going to have blink before Shadow Shaman even hits 6, which is, like, good, honestly. Just because you can get your combo going so much faster. Era is already, what, the 4th of the way into level 8, which means his combo will be maxed out soon. He can kill...
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh, speaking of kill, Cheshire Cat almost dying to neutrals.
Yeah. Well, that's the glory of how this lane worked out. Era was basically free farming by himself in the lane, so he got all the XP, and that opened up for Fog to just hang out in the jungle and do his thing. It's a tower down. Tiny gets the last hit. There's the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, so this should be a fairly good time for Fog to just take over the lane. Yep, he's doing that right now. That just means that if they want to go for a smoke, they can send the Dazzle and the Tiny somewhere. They can go for a quick pick. It might reveal the Blink Dagger, but that's fine, because really the only goal right now for Stake is to buy time for the Shadow Shaman to hit 6. Once he does that, they can go for their 5-man Death Ball, and it's still quite a while before Cheshire Cat is going to have his blink. He's about 1,000 gold away from it right now, and he doesn't even have a place to farm. Like, the entire jungle is going to be respawning in a second, and it's going to be a few minutes.
Tough. Alesh is also pulling up gold right now. He's up to... Oh, he just bought something. Okay, what is it? Beginning of...
See,
looks like a Bloodstone.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So, nothing too strange. He had like 2,500 gold. I'm like, gonna right-click a Yules here? What's going on?
Yeah, he kind of needs the health, though. If he thinks that Era's going blink, then it makes the most sense to go tanky. He could die here, though.
Here we go. Era blinks in. Avalanche, toss, Slick stealing damage in the meantime. Easy kill there. Fraser will get credit. So first rotation from Era. That's the Blink Dagger reveal. Yields a kill on the enemy mid. Exactly what Stake are looking for.
All they need now is for that Shadow Shaman down lane to get some more paper mache going and hit 6. That's the dream. That's when you can start actually just going ham. I think that Stake's...
Gotta make Mom proud.
Yeah, their timing is incredibly strong. The thing about Morphling is, I mentioned the awkward timing during the draft. He's actually strong without any items, but it's deceptive because he doesn't build another item that gives him impact for such a long time. Because Linken's is the first thing that he normally gets. Obviously, the Perseverance leads me to believe that will be the same case here for Illidan in this game.
Yeah.
We're gonna see
Era.
Yeah, see you later.
And that's the glory of the early Blink Dagger. You get it at 10 minutes. All of these heroes are so susceptible. Even the tankier ones. Cheshire Cat on the axe. That combo is going to do a lot of damage. And if there's anyone near the Tiny, it's pretty much a free kill. And of course, the supports are just juice at this point. Yeah. So, good stuff. Even the Tusk, he's only got 780 HP right now. He went for phase boots instead of power treads. So, doesn't have that extra little bit of strength in case he gets initiated on.
It helps him keep the static link. And I think he's feeling fairly confident with a Abba and a Dazzle to not have to itemize for nothing but health. Although, interestingly enough, Synderen opted to go for drums. So they are going for, like, full-on chase, try to just get as much as you can from the team fights, instead of going for the more sustain-oriented route with the Dazzle. But here comes the level 6 smoke.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll see where they go. Looks like wrap around in the mid lane. Dire with a pretty defensive posture right now. You look at Radiant Vision, and they don't see a hell of a lot. Only the Morphling farming up top, and everyone else is just so far back. I think you're going to have to be patient on this one if they want to find a kill. Maybe they can poke into mid and out the Lesh.
A kill is a guaranteed tower. Like, if they get this kill, he's dead. I mean, there's 5 heroes here. Even if he just backs off, they drop wards, and it should be fine. Oh, the Axe's blink
Smoke's
timing
just
is
about
fast.
to expire, though. Oh, Lesh, he's getting close. They see him. Era grabs him with the combo, gets him down low. Ether Shock will finish him off. It'll actually be Era that gets the last hit with the punch. But like you said, quick pick leads into a tower. And
towers here.
I think they save wards. Yeah, drop wards on the tier 2. The Morphling already got the tier 1 up top a while ago, so he's going to press into the tier 2, but there is a glyph for the Radiant, and they should easily win this trade and be able to defend top without too much trouble. There will be a dire glyph, of course, after the tier 1 goes down, but they're in good shape. Even drums used by Synderen here. The damage is real. They're going crazy. Chop that wood. Come on, Stake.
They might actually try to go for picks when they back. I don't know if they're going to have time, though. Oh, they don't have a smoke? Okay, never mind. I thought they were going to try to pick off stragglers. Bignum had a smoke, but they didn't want to go for it. Just too dangerous to try to fight into 5.
Yeah. Nicely done by Stake, though. Crisp execution. Nice play to save the wards there. Give them a nice little gold lead for now. They'll get Shadow Shaman level 7. 1,400 gold, so 2/3 of the way to the Blink Dagger. And Tiny I guess you just start working on the Aghanims now. He's got 1300, so we'll see what he goes for.
It could just be casual drums if he wants to snowball super hard. I think both choices are reasonable. They could actually end the game very early with their lineup. Slicks is living life on the freaking edge right now. Doesn't even know it.
Yeah, smoke rotation from Power Rangers. This is, what, a 4 stack that he's working on? A 3 stack?
Yeah, I think so. That's 4.
Oh, man. They're not going to find him. Maybe, just maybe, the smoke expires. There we go. Slicks caught by the Berserker's calling. Oh, mama. Razor's tanky, but that'll be a freebie. Cheshire Cat. Easy calling blade there.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
They'll try towers. It's not, like, too bad, honestly, for Stake to lose that one hero. It's a lot of information gained. And the other thing, too, is when you start to get more towers as Stake's lineup, and you start, like, threatening the tier 3s and whatnot and going for Roshan, it becomes even harder for PR to actually fight. So I think, like, taking a straight-up tower trade, while it's the only thing that PR can do and feel confident in, when they are trading and Fog doesn't have to drop wards, he can also continue to do what he did mid, which is get the first tower and then drop wards on the second and force PR to either react or sack the tower, and they will push faster because they not only do they have a tiny, but of course they have the massive wards too.
Yeah. And Tiny's real pushing power hasn't even opened up yet, and that's the scary part.
Yep. He's pulling quite a bit of gold. He could just be going for eggs.
Yeah, I don't think he goes drums. They already have 2. Slicks went drums as well as Cinder.
Oh, he did too.
3 drums is a little...
Okay. Well, it's not really so
fucky.
much about buying more drums is bad. It's just the idea of what your lineup is meant to do at what point. I don't think Stake want this game going past like 30 minutes. I think they just want to end it. That's why I said that he might buy drums.
Ah, okay, I see. Well, here come the wards on the tier 2. Looks like PR want to mount a defense this time, though. Here we go. Snowball in. Berserker's call onto Era. Catches Cinder in as well. But of course, he's got the ultimate. That'll bring him back up. Cheshire Cat taking huge damage from Slicks. He'll barely live, but recovery. Not going to be so lucky. Finishes off Dazzle before he goes down, but Lesh is dead. A 2-for-1, soon to be 2-for-2 as Slicks cleans up Tusk. They find J4, and it's State Gaming that are just starting to overrun them. Illidan goes in, very ambitious, morphing strength, and now Cheshire Cat with a big Berserker's call. Man's up, gets the Shadow Shaman, but it does cost him his life. 3-for-4. Illidan trying to get aggressive on Slicks. Waveform catches him. Kill, and it's an even trade in terms of heroes down, but Stake do finish off the tier 2 tower that they originally came for.
And in all honesty, I would still say that PR are decently okay with that. They lost 2 cores, but at the end of the day, Illidan lives to the team fight. He finishes his Lincolns, and again, showcasing how durable a hero can be. Just a little bit of overextension by Stake, not waiting to just fight around their wards. The only thing that you need to get there is the tower. You don't need to force the engagement super hard. Worst case scenario, you wait for another ward cooldown, you go for Roshan. It's still kind of hard for PR to fight into that enclosed space. So, I don't know. I think that fight was a little bit too risky from Stake.
Yeah. Maybe a little ambitious. Their lead is actually not that big. It's about 3k net worth, but it's all tower gold at this point. You look at the experience graph, and it's actually PR that have a slight edge, even though it's still rather even. And they've got a completed round of items now. Of course, the Blink has been out on the Axe, but now Lincoln's is completed on the Morphling, and Recovery has the full Soul Booster now. So they're getting a little beefier.
And the tankier they get, the harder it's going to be for the Tiny to have the impact that he wants. And there will be a stage where the Morphling and the Axe are just going to be incredibly annoying. You're always going to have Static Link, which is going to be nice for them, but the support damage scaling is going to fall off heavily. And keep in mind that they do not have the tools to kill a Morphling in late game. They just don't. Like, Morphling used to be kind of 50-50 against Tiny because his attack range was such that if you tried to like waveform in, you would get craggied at the beginning of your auto attack. That doesn't happen anymore since they nerfed the interaction. You actually have to hit the hero before you get craggied, so there's not going to be any more of this random waveform in, instantly get stunned crap that used to always happen. So I do feel like PR's mid-late game is just as good, if not even a bit better.
Interestingly enough, Arrow went back for a Midas after the Blink Dagger here.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Not sure if they want to close it. I mean, again, Tiny's one of those heroes that really benefits from the attack speed, so it could let him kind of snowball more, but we'll see. Speaking of snowballs, Big Numb falls short. Slicks comes in to defend his Dazzle, stealing big damage here. He's going to chase him down, and a few attacks with the whips will bring him down. Tusk is dead. Slicks gets another one on the scoreboard, so a nice turnaround to keep the Dazzle safe. Dazzle bait, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where 1 or 2 big team fights could just crack the entire game wide open one way or the other. The thing that's really dangerous about Stake's lineup is even if you're winning and you're playing against that, If you get caught out one time out of position, like Tiny with Aghanims eventually, Mass Serpent Wards, you could just lose a set of racks. And that's one thing that PR are always going to have to be very cautious of because they just don't have that great a mobility. The heroes that they have during team fights, like you have some Blink Initiation, speaking of, Cheshire Cat. See you later.
Well, there was an axe there, but yeah, that'll happen.
Here's the Roche.
Easy Roche rotation here.
Yeah, that kill is really important for them. It'll help them secure the last tier 2. It'll give them the map control they need to restrict PR's movement for a little while. It's kind
of all the heroes as well. I mean, they could still snowball in, but Axe is like really the big threat around the Roche pit. If you know he's dead, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the best hero to kill, pretty much. It's the only hero with initiation power too, besides Tusk. And Tusk is not really the same as getting like a blank call on like 2 or 3 heroes.
Yeah, definitely not. Alright, well the Morphling is farming pretty well, but now I feel like Stake are actually starting to regain some control here. That Roche is really huge, and now they've got the Aegis up on the Tiny. That'll give Era a little bit of breathing room here, and I guess now you definitely go into Aghanims after you pick up the Midas?
I would imagine so. The only reason I think he gets Midas in this game is because he might not feel confident in their ability to high ground maybe as fast as they wanted to. Like maybe after that top team fight he just decides, I'm gonna buy Midas instead. I think the game might stretch out a little bit longer than we wanted to. And having that Midas will help him because he obviously the attack speed, like you mentioned, helps him a great deal, but having the continued item progression when he knows that Illidan pretty much just wants to farm this game, it just helps him stay relevant.
Right, okay. Well, smoke now from Stake. Clicks, goes in on a Cheshire Cat, breaks the Blink Dagger. Era with a Blink Avalanche from the side, TP home, but there's the Hex. You're not going anywhere, Axe. And Stake with just the offs, man. It's like the last 3 or 4 have just been all kills. Speaking of kills, Illidan will finish off Cinderin, but the rotation, and he's gonna get sandwiched here. Avalanche combo.
Oh,
not enough. It's not enough. Mega kill down, and Era gets it. So all things considered, PR should be pretty damn happy with that trade. They get the pick on the Axe, then they basically end up trading 1-for-1 Cinderin for Morphling. They kill the carry, and Era gets credit for the kill. That's just about his Aghanim Scepter.
That's one of the best things that could have happened, actually. We'll call that a tactical feed by Cinderin. And trading the Morphling for his life is way worth it in this point, because that's the one hero on PR that you would never expect to die. Like, that was his first death of the game. But as I already said, it's very difficult for Stake to lock him down, even with things like Shackle. You know, they don't have a hard silence. Keep in mind, Morphling can continually morph throughout a stun. You have to, like, blow him up or silence him to have a reliable method of taking him down, so getting that kill, very, very big for them.
Absolutely. Razor now with a Yasha, probably an SNY coming out for Slicks. There it is, delivered on the Courier, okay. And a set of drums for the Tusks, okay, who is smoked up alongside the Axe, bottom lane rotation. Behind J4, what are we looking at here? Era and Fogged. No idea it's coming, they're dark. Era may walk right into it. Breaks the smoke, but Cheshire Cat, oh god! Era blinks out just in time as the Berserker's call comes through. There's that cast point for you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, now in the river. Recovery and Slicks going at it, but Illidan comes in, pushes Slicks back. Now Era, stun on 2, but Snowball resets. That's an odd-looking graphic there. Walrus Punch out on Era, but the Splash just can't take the heat. Cheshire Cat stuck inside of the wards. Beautiful trap from Fog. They're just going to isolate him. J4 on the backside with a big ult, but it just isn't enough. The damage hurts, but can't bring anyone down. Era will throw up into the air to interrupt. Oh, man, the Ice Shards trap him in place. Big Numb looking to make an exodus here. Has a TP scroll. He'll use it. And he'll make it out. Beautifully played by the Tusk at the end, but still a rough team fight for PR. 1 for 3. Dazzle?
That was close, man. That was close.
That was really close.
I mean, that would have been a really big kill for them because that's their sustain, you know? If he had the E-Blade finish, obviously it would have been a very quick item progression if he had the full E-Blade right now. But if he gets that kill, there's no more heals. Maybe they have to back a little bit sooner, you know? A little bit. It definitely helps, but unfortunately he can't get that. And again, it's just... Oh, Illidan?
Uh-oh, he's isolated. Shackles, Era has the Ags now, wamping him down, but the Morph really effective here. TP, Era doesn't have any cooldowns, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Nice getaway though from the Morphling.
That Morph is actually insane. I think it's like 16 stats a second, right? Something crazy like that.
0.062, yeah.
It's like 16, because it used to be 8, right? Because they also changed how the conversion works. It's now 1 at a time, and Axe is also going to get blown up inside of the jungle. How does he just die to
We were distracting our observer.
He only dies Because he has a bracer, and that's it, and a 17 charge wand. Okay.
Yeah, Axe is level 10, Era's like level 15. Oh, he has double damage too. Yeah, that'll do it. I don't see the graphic. That's weird. You guys see the double damage?
No,
or is
I don't
it like
either. Now I do.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go. It
it
just
just
came
like
back.
randomly
Okay.
popped up.
Yeah, that was an odd visual bug. So, okay, double damage, it makes sense.
Yeah.
They're starting to fall behind. This graph up to about 7,500 net worth, 5k experience. They're really getting a lot of control now. And that last fight, man, I feel like the Lesh just couldn't do anything. J4 TP home. Era catches him. There we go. That's a combo. Dead. Still made.
This is getting out of hand. They're just giving away too much. They're trying to do what they can to buy time for Illidan, but the fact of the matter is, as we said, this hero has a very awkward timing. Like, he needs quite a bit to go from being, like, decently capable in the early game to actually able to do anything at all during the mid-late game, especially against a team that has this much sustain. Abba and Dazzle together with Weave, most of the damage that he's going to be doing is all right-click until he finishes the E-Blade. And if they're ready for his E-Blade combo, and they either throw a shield onto somebody or get a heal off, that combo doesn't kill, then he pretty much has to replicate out, and then his damage is pretty much done in the fight. He has to rely on everyone else to finish off. So it's a rough spot. I had my reservations, but Stake, they're looking pretty solid right now.
So, Cinderin with this point booster, I imagine it'll be an Aghanims. Thoughts about Aghanims on Abaddon? I guess it could be a Scotty, but Ags just feels like that team fight items they definitely want. I really like the Ags upgrade on Abaddon, honestly. It's one of my favorite pub builds to go.
Yeah, you can trigger it at any time, which is really useful. And the damage redirect is insane. Like, it is so good against heroes like Leshrac and a CM ulti, for example. Nice dodge there from
They
Illidan.
saw the waveform forward, they wanted to catch him, but replicate.
No, that's a solid choice. The only thing that I question in this entire game about his item build is why he went drums instead of mech. Because they didn't actually have, they still don't have a mech. Like, I thought because he was going drums, that would mean that the Razor would buy a mech.
But he went drums too.
He went drums, so it's a little bit strange. Maybe it's just a little bit of miscommunication, I'm not sure. But against
That's true. The way they played it, though, it seemed like a mech would have really helped out.
Yeah, I agree. If they're just going to stick together as 5 and drop mass serpent wards and try to fight, mech is pretty much one of the best items that you can feasibly get on that type of lineup. But maybe he just felt like he didn't have the mana, because he did go phase as well.
Yeah. Bog hanging out in the bottom lane here. Level 11 now in the Shadow Shaman with the Blink Dagger. He'll just hide out and eventually retreat. So all the outer towers now down in favor of Stake. They've only conceded 2 of their own. So it's nothing but high ground here. We'll probably see them be patient, just wait out next Roche. Era's Hand of Might is starting to pay some dividends here. And they're still in this kind of window here where Morphling is annoying, but still not really unstoppable by any stretch. He is very close, though, to the E-Blade, and I think he's actually just picked it up. Yep, there it is on the courier. So that's a big power tool coming his way. We'll see what Tiny grabs next. Also, about 3,200 gold sitting on Era.
I think he might just go for BKB or Assault. BKB would pretty much ensure that he can't die in a team fight. The right click from the Morphling's not scary enough to take him down. And plus, we also talked a little bit about Craggy. It did get nerfed, yes, but it's still pretty much a form of mitigation against a hero who has to be in range of it for him to actually hit you, so it's always going to be nice. He has the bonus armor already from things like Weave anyway, and he has a potential Shallow Grave if the axe isn't like in his face trying to dunk him.
Yeah. So, honestly, looking at this game, to me it feels like the offlaners are the really big disparity. Like, the impact that Cinderin has had on the Abaddon versus what Cheshire Cat's been able to do on the axe is just completely inverted.
Yeah, but it's also the way that the lineups function too, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you're playing Axe in this game, imagine how difficult it is to blink into multiple blink-initiating heroes who can also disable you, Mass Serpent Wards, 2 potential healers, one of which that can dispel. Like, it is just a nightmare trying to find a good blink call as an Axe this game. It's just the lineup that they have picked for Stake is very, very a counter to an Axe's typical style of play. Like, there just aren't going to be opportunities for him to find, like, 3 or 4 heroes sitting on top of each other. It just won't be there.
And it's also just the way that the timings happen with the Blink Daggers. If you're an offlaner, an offlane Axe up against a Centaur, for example, and you're sort of fighting for Blink timings, it's a little more even. But Stake's Blink Dagger carrier was their safe lane carry who got huge farms, so he was able to come online way earlier than the Axe, which made Axe's life difficult, and it just got worse from there. But we see 2 big item pickups now for Stake, double BKBs, one on the Tiny, one on the Razor. Slick's also level 16, so now Eye of the Storm doing a little more damage. They'll smoke up, go through the Roche pit, Head down towards the bottom lane, looking at Radiant Vision here. They've got some pretty good intel. They know what's going on. There's a ward down in the lane, so they may just go right for it. Indeed, they shall. BKB used by recovery right away. Lincoln's already broken on the Morphling. He'll wait for him out, but wards come down. Walrus punch on Slicks will cost Big Num his life. It's only the only kill we've seen so far, and it looks like it's the only one that'll happen in this fight. A lot used for just the Tusk.
The combo came out even from the Morphling, and it didn't do anything. Like, the heroes just can't die. They're way too tanky. They're gonna try
too much sustain.
Yeah, they're gonna try to counter pressure other lanes, I suppose. It was the BKB coming out from Era. Kind of figured that would be the case.
Do you think they may have intentionally not gotten mech and just said, you know what, our sustain is enough. We don't really need it. Let's get drums instead, so we're all harder to kill. Like, is there any merit to that logic when you have an Abad and Dazzle together?
I would say yes, if their top team fight didn't go so, like, it didn't go badly, but it could have went a lot better if they had one. That's basically the only reason that I was wondering why he didn't have it. I mean, he did shield himself in that fight too, which I think ended up getting somebody else killed, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Illidan, he wants Fogged.
Nice.
Sorry, Fogged.
That's what he pretty much needs to do throughout the entire game now. And again, it's very difficult for Stake to kill him, so he can play super aggressive right now. His team's even coming in, potentially, to take a team fight here.
Yeah. It's a replicated Abaddon. It'd be an interesting fight. Stake are kind of lingering around. They could just quick pick one and level this out, but they have to choose their target carefully. Illidan, the Lincolns, as well as a replicate. Cheshire Cat misses the Berserker's call, but they get Illidan off to the side. He starts working strength right away. They get him to half health, and he will make it back. Now Slicks with BKB on, takes a Walrus punch. Steel Kid backside. Has to use the Grave. Tusk dies again to the Razor. This is turning into an awkward fight where Slicks is completely isolated. Maybe tunnel visioning a bit too far. He gets decapitated. A mega kill streak down. Now Era goes back in, finds the Lesh. No BKB. He'll get comboed down. Cheshire Cat on the run. Blink Dagger up in 1 second. It's like he'll make it out. Illidan and J4 on the high ground. They'll be okay for now. Shotgun clips the Shadow Shaman. Poor Fog gets blown up again. Illidan playing this one dirty with the shot-off shotgun in the back line. My God.
Yeah, he's keeping them in the game right now. It's pretty much the Illidan show from now on. A couple of good blink calls and a CM ulti or two can definitely have some impact here. But you're looking to Illidan now to just be like, please Senpai, carry me. This is what they need. The E-Blade Adaptive Strike combo is online. You can kill either of the supports with it. The damage is completely insane. And he will eventually transition to a point where they simply can't kill him anymore. I think he'll probably end up going for like Manta, Butterfly, or like the Lifesteal route as well. I think those are both good. Scotty is also a solid choice this game if you want to go for like the maximum chasing potential. But once he gets like 1 or 2 more items, because of the Tiny's item progression, the way that he built, like he didn't go the maximum farming route, he didn't build AC before BKB, and this BKB was meant to be able to win like the next couple of fights, secure another Roshan, and end the game. That's the important thing. Like 30 minutes and onwards, it starts to become more and more PR's territory.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're starting to feel that lack of catch that Stake has in these longer team fights, where sure, Era can catch somebody when it's a quick pick or at the beginning of the fight, but once the fight starts to break out, PR can disengage really easily. We saw the 10-second BKBs used and the 9-second BKBs, and both times Stake really wanted to commit to a hard fight, and PR were able to just kind of delta split. They took a few losses, the Tusk sacrificed himself, the Morphling played Ring Around Rosie in the back, and all things considered, they mitigated their losses pretty effectively. Stake will grab the second Roshan, though. Aegis of the Immortal goes to the Tiny, so Era will have a second life once again. Completely agree. They need to group up. They need to end this thing soon. At the very least, they need to get a lane of barracks so they have some more lane control pushing in. But at this point, I don't think one lane is enough. PR can hold that off pretty effectively. They need more Draskell. They need a biggin. And oh God, speaking of biggins, a BKB on Illidan. What are we gonna do?
They're not killing him, that's for sure. The BKB is the choice that you make when you feel like the enemy team is going to try to just straight up kill you right now, which I think is a fair assessment. Because Stake just got that, they got the Aegis. Obviously they don't know it yet, but Cinderin also finished up his Aghanims at the same time. This is a very strong timing. Speaking of, here we go top.
Yep, they're going in. Slicks in some trouble, Walrus punch, but oh, it's a Glimmer Cape. They're lacking on the detection front, no gem, and they'll keep him alive. Now they reset. Cheshire Cat, caught by Fog, he takes the shotgun, but he lives. It's a miracle. Morphling wanted to go in on him, but had to back out, and everyone will stay alive.
I think it's actually better for PR that they just disengaged there. There was not really a whole lot they could do, especially considering I don't even think Lesh was there, right? He's like bottom lane, yeah.
No.
Didn't have a tower TP2 or anything, so yeah, good for PR that they got out of that situation.
Yeah. How did Fog live? Did he get healed in between, or did he just...
The combo didn't hit at the same time.
Okay, yeah, it looked a little awkward.
Yeah, he had, I think he threw the adaptive first to interrupt the shackle, and then he used E-Blade afterwards, maybe to just force him to back, instead of like continually running forward and trying to go for another disable. And it worked, it just didn't kill him.
Okay. I see. I see.
But all in all, it's fine.
So Lesh, yeah, Lesh with the BKB, still with that 9-second charge, and now has a plate mail. So recovery's doing okay, but 4 charges on this Bloodstone. He hasn't really been able to ball out of control with it. These last few team fights, he's been focused pretty hard, and for good reason. I mean, he does huge damage if left unchecked, but the ending result is that he can't just be that driving force that charges in the front lines anymore. They just kill him too fast.
Yeah. It's getting a bit sketchy here for PR. This is a really hard push to stop.
All right. Serpent Ward's down on the high ground. Dire have a glyph, but look how fast the tower goes down. They glyph it now. Remember, Era has Aegis. They'll Glimmer Cape him. They'll Aphotic shield him. My golly, this is painful to watch. Drum charge is used. They're doing everything they can to poke at Era, but they're able to sustain through it. Now on the back line, they're going on to Seal Kid. Dazzle dies first. Not a bad way to start off this fight, but now the turn. Cheshire Cat thrown up in the air by Era. Almost enough damage to bring him down. Finally falls. Big Numb on the backside getting chased by Slicks. Should be able to get finished off. Yep, there we go. One last auto attack will do the dirty. Meanwhile, Rasta Ward's just finishing off the barracks. They got the melee, really what they came for. And they still have the Aegis. Doesn't expire for another 2 minutes. J4 now caught, crowd controlled, and finished off. It's 3 in the grave for PR, 4 still alive for Stake. All the outer towers are down, so they can just move to another lane of barracks if they want, but they caught the Morphling. Lincoln's gets broken. He still has a replicate down, and man, they can't finish him off. He still has the 10-second BKB. He's not even scared here, Drasko. Look at him. He just replicates back.
Yeah, he doesn't have a reason
devil.
to be scared, man. He's the unkillable water man. Well, he did die one time, I suppose, but that's because he was diving in a Abaddon past the tier 2. Obviously, any hero is going to get punished for doing that, especially when there's such a heavy TP reaction, but damage is done. That's all you really need to do if you're Stake. You still have the Aegis standing. AC is probably going to be done here on Era. I think he just drops his Midas for this. Yeah, there we go. So he is about as strong as he's going to get. I mean, obviously he can pick up like a Moon Shard, maybe a Daedalus or something if he wants to go for like the hard 6 slot after the Aegis fades, but his power is pretty much reaching its peak, whereas Illidan still has much room for improvement in his inventory. I think the BKB might have been too defensive a choice, honestly. It sounds weird, but they already had such a hard time killing him that if he bought another item that helped him deal damage, at least, you know, right click, or if he buys like Manta just for a little bit more mobility and whatnot, maybe that would be enough to help him carry through the fight. And plus it also benefits the E-Blade combo, any stats that he gains, which helps keep it relevant against the Dazzle and the Shadow Shaman, because ideally you want to kill them immediately. And because one of them has a Glimmer and the other one has a full hood, it's going to get harder and harder to do that. And if you give the time to Stake to react, they're going to save the support that you go on, and then your combo is all for naught.
Yeah, and on top of that, you've got the Abaddon ult you got to worry about as well. If Synderon's in the right place at the right time and sees it coming, you can always borrow time to mitigate some of that damage. So there are a lot of ways to try to effectively stop the shotgun from just one-shotting somebody, and then they can at least regen up and react. We'll see a smoke now picked up by the Tusk, so perhaps it is PR that want to start to get a little bit aggressive here. They move into enemy territory. Era pops forward, but can't catch Illidan. Waveform will keep him safe. Got a nice aggressive ward on the high ground to give a lot of intel of Stake's movements, and with that, PR will just disengage. So, the war of attrition continues, 35 minutes in. This is where things start to get tense. Syndrome with a plate mail, I guess that'll turn into a Shiva's Guard, given that they have the AC already.
Most likely. I can't really see.
I guess it could be a Lotus. Is this a Lotus game?
Not really.
Not
I mean, unless he wants
yeah.
to dispel like the ethereal form, or he can put the Lotus on maybe one of the supports when they're pushing. That would make it so there's a lot less incentive for Illidan to go on them. I suppose you could use that argument. It's not terrible, but I think Shiva's is amazing against this kind of team. When you want to be in the middle of the fight anyway, right? You're putting the aura on everyone.
And it also gives you more catch. I think that solves one of the problems that we brought up a few times. Now Illidan, Lincoln gets broken mid. They've got the crowd controls. He's falling fast. He's morphing, but it's not enough. Slicks gets kill, and Morphling's down for the count. He does have a buyback here. He'll burn it right away. I think it's the right call. Get that baby on cooldown, because you're going to need it.
Yeah. I think it's like good enough. At first I was a little bit surprised that Fog decided to just YOLO drop wards, but the end, it forces a buyback. That's more than enough damage dealt. I would gladly drop Mass Serpent Wards to make the other team's carry spend like, what, over 1,000 gold at this point, just to be able to buy himself back into the game. So just some economical damage dealt. They can just wait out the Mass Serpent Ward cooldown again, just go for the repeat, try to get more chip damage, and the tier 3s in the top and the bottom lane. And let's see, how long on Roche? Still a little while. Aegis is gone now.
Yeah. Well, now they have this window, though, where they can easily wait out the next Roche and still know the Morphling's buyback will be on cooldown, and it's Aegis and Cheese. So I think you just burn 2 or 3 minutes, farm, sit back and chill, and if you can secure next Roche or get a pick off right beforehand, this high ground siege gets way easier.
Yeah, I think it's a danger zone for PR, to say the least. Illidan, his item progression is just completely halted. Like, ever since he bought the BKB. It's still 10 seconds as well, like he didn't even get a chance to use it when he got caught mid.
He hasn't needed it. I mean, and there it's he either is able to scoot away with the Lincolns and just morph waveform, or he's completely crowd controlled where he can't BKB out of it anyhow.
Yeah, but that's kind of why I was saying I'm like the more that I see the game play out, the less that I like the BKB choice, because the only way he dies is how he died mid, and the BKB isn't going to save him if he's not fast enough.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Initiation down bottom. Era, the one that gets caught, but he gets force stabbed back, stays alive. There's the shallow grave. Now the turn. Cheshire Cat falls first. Recovery with BKB on. Denies himself. Fast 2-0. BKB for Illidan used, but it's expired now. He's trying to man up on Fog, but it's not the right target. Fog's alive. He turns, drops the shackles, and that's it. Illidan calls GG as he gets finished off by the Tiny, and it's Stake Gaming that takes game number 1 here after 38 minutes. My God, after all that, it seemed like Illidan was really in control for a while, but those last 2 deaths completely cost PR the game as he was stuck without a buyback and dead for 80 seconds.
Yeah, that was their last-ditch effort. They knew that the game was a losing battle for quite a while now. As soon as they killed mid, it became like dire straight situation for them. They needed